Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? Welcome to another episode of Rock Mac. I am your host, Garfield Waller. Well, it's a nice, balmy Saturday night where I'm here in Central Florida, and I'd like to ask you guys, where are you located? If you are in Jamaica, guys, I guess boys champs and girls champs still going on. Could you just put it in the chat for me, please? Let me know what's happening. Let me know what's happening. Who's winning? Is it still KC? And on the girls' side, is it Hydale or is it Edwin Allen? I'd love to know. I want to say congratulations to our little St. Mary High and on the showing they're making. Yeah, we'll get there again. We'll get there one another time. We did it in the 70s, and trust me, the way this coach is going, we're gonna do it again. Please, guys, please don't be afraid to participate. Just put it in the chat where you're listening from. And if anybody's out there already, just put in the chat what the sound is like. What is the audio like, guys? Because I take my audio very seriously. When I just started this program a year or so ago, to me it was all about the video, but I understand the audio. So if you're watching, if you're listening, let me know what the audio is like, please. I'd be happy to find that out. Well, let's get on with the program. The gentleman I have for you tonight, Mr. Errol Bascoe. Very nice guy. We've been chatting behind the scenes for a while, but it touches on politics. You see, Mr. Bascoe intends, he doesn't say he wants to run, he intends to be the next MP representing the People's National Party for the Western St. Mary constituency. And that's going to be a tall order because last week we spoke to Giovanni Byfield, who intends to be his opponent. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's welcome Mr. Errol Bascoe. Good evening, Mr. Bascoe. How are you, sir?
Good evening, sir. I am very much good. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. Listen, a big thank you because I was expecting to hear you call to say, hey, you want to postpone it because of champs. I thought you'd be at the stadium, but like me, at our age, we don't like the crowd again. So good to good to have you here, sir. I am happy that you're here.
I
So,
am
Mr.
here, sir.
Yes, sir. You hear me? What's up? How's everything?
I am good. I'm not at Champs, particularly because my school is really not performing this year.
This year, okay. All right.
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Vasco. Before we get into this thing, key question. If I were to ask you to give me one word that describes Errol Basco, what would that word be?
I would say visionary.
Visionary. Give me another one. Another word that would describe you.
Um, if I'm not a visionary, I'm a, um, let me get one. Eh, a servant.
You're a servant. Okay. Good. All right, Mr. Basco, we know the position you hold. We know you're principal at Tacky for umpteen years. Before we get to that, we want to know who is Errol Basco? Who was that little boy, Errol Basco? Would you mind going back into your childhood and letting us know where you're from, how you came up? What was your childhood like?
Well, Errol Basco. I am the where am I? I'm the fourth of seven children for my mother and father,
Mhm.
and I'm the seventh child for my father. It tells you then that my father was going on with some things elsewhere.
As they call him, Village Ram, right?
But I grew up in the district of Gayle. Went to Gayle Primary
Mhm.
from a very poor family. From there, I went to the Tacky Secondary School, it was then. now
at the
the high
time.
school
Okay.
that I lead.
Mm-hmm.
And then I moved to G.C. Foster College in Spanish Town. I am a sports addict till today.
Okay.
As
Till
a
today.
matter of fact, I was champion boy while attending Tacky. So I was very good
What?
at sprinting.
All right.
Sprinting then was a different thing, though, because I can remember that my best time was 11.2 seconds over the 100 meter. But I was
Okay.
champion boy then.
You're champion boy.
Yes. And
Them days you fly.
that today would be a lady's time.
Yes, sir. Times change. Times
Yeah.
change. So,
After
so Mr.
moving from
Basco.
there, I would have moved on with my sporting prowess to the G.C. Foster College in Spanish Town. And so I would have graduated from G.C. Foster at a very tender age of 21 years old.
Okay.
Almost still a child. I didn't stop there. So I decided that I needed to go further, and I moved on to do my master's degree at Central Connecticut State University, where I am now
Hold
the
on.
older.
Stick up in. How did you get to Central State?
Well, after leaving GC Foster, I should have said, at age 21, I worked at a Butnut Gallimore High School in St. Anne for 10 years.
Okay.
As a PE teacher. Then I decided to go back to GC Foster to do my bachelor's. So I have a diploma and a bachelor's in physical education.
In physics, okay.
So it was after that bachelor's that I decided to go into administration. Hence my journey to Central Connecticut State University, where I did my master's degree in educational leadership.
Wait, going to Central State, was that a shock for you, a culture shock? Leaving a hot country like Jamaica, going up in the Connecticut cold? How was it?
It wasn't a culture shock for me, because what happened is that I was a part of a group. I think it would have been the first set of Jamaicans to be engaged in that particular master's program with Central Connecticut State University. So I had many colleagues and friends on the trip with me.
On the trip with you. Okay, during your early years, can you remember any of the teachers who were of great influence to you? Were there any teachers who, paved the way for you?
Oh, yes. My principal at Tacky Secondary then, the late Dr. Robert Herman Walker, really paved the way for me becoming the person that I am today. And if I'm to tell you something, Sir Waller, when I went to GC Foster, I did not apply to go. There was a teacher at school who I know is listening now. He's not so old after all. He was a little older than us at the time teaching, by the name of Adolph Robb. That man would have made the application. So when I was first knowing about GC Foster was when I got a telegram. It was a telegram now inviting you for interview. And I brought it to him to say, I got a telegram to say I'm to come for interview. He said to me at the time that them probably hear about you, man, and know so you can run. So them want to come up. They didn't tell me says him apply, And the rest of it is history. Here am I.
Wait, at GC Foster, was that the first year the school opened?
No, I was not a part of the pioneer group. I would have had some friends like Derek Green, Adolph Green, and those guys who were in the pioneer group.
Okay. Because I remember coming out there during that first year to visit Derek and Dolph. I remember, what's the name of the dreadlocks? Horton.
Yes, man. There was a bus driver.
Right.
Yes.
Right. I remember coming out there those times, man. All right. So, listen, Mr. Bascoe, you are now stepping into the realm of politics, education, then into politics. No, you have we spoke to your opponent last week, but you have a slight advantage. You have a slight advantage. Could you explain that to us, please, and explain how the whole selection process? I wouldn't say election yet. Explain how the whole selection process will go.
A little correction though. The word opponent is a little too strong for me. And
All right.
so I wouldn't want to say opponent because we are on the same side. If you are a horse racing man, then I would say to you, if you say opponent, I would want to think it's a 100 to 1 shot. So I don't know if you can regard it as being opponent.
All right, let's call it a stablemate.
A better word for me would be improbability.
All right. Can you explain the advantage you have from your position?
All right. So if I am to start, currently, I am the chairman for the constituency, Western St. Mary. The youngster who has good zeal that you would want to encourage is one of my divisional chair.
Okay.
Very bright guy. And you would want to encourage this sort of enthusiasm.
Okay.
So, Sir Walla, I'll bring this down to youthful exuberance. And you don't want to destroy youth. You want to encourage them to come. But there are times now when you have to hold their hands and tell them that, listen, you must creep before you walk.
All right. Before I get what you say, but before you even go any further, when it comes to politics, do you believe in this saying that somebody should wait the time? Wait for your time? I'm sure you hear people say that. It's not your time yet.
It depends, you know. It depends. I believe, though, that you must learn to pay your dues.
Pay your dues.
Before. My grandmother would have said to me, I know so pastor getting gone.
Yeah.
You know? Okay. And there are processes. But if I'm to tell you now, though, that the process really, when we had NEC, it is, you know, there are many bright people in the PNP, you know.
Yep.
And so all 63 seats were up for grab. And so people had to apply for all seats, to include that of the opposition leader. So the youngster would not have done anything wrong to show his ambition.
Okay.
And so a number of us applied for the seat. I think 5 in total. Only 2 of us are remaining because others who had applied realized that it is almost nonsensical to continue against the chairman. Against the chairman. Yes. And so I tell you something. In 2016, you know, I'll answer you in this way. In 2016, there is a guy that ran against the legendary Portia Simpson Miller. He knew before the election that he would not have won, you know. He knew. But some people take comfort in the summation after the election, because if you happen to know the Jamaican paper, after election, they would have listed all the people who have won. And there is another column which says also ran.
Also ran.
So some people take comfort in that.
Okay.
So I leave it
At least,
there.
at least the name get big up, right?
Yes.
All right. I hear what you say, and I'm hoping our guests will hear too. Ladies and gentlemen, I have here with me Mr. Errol Bascoe, who intends to be the next People's National Party Member of Parliament for Western St. Mary. So, Mr. Bascoe, as principal of Tacky High, I don't think most people know that you have been principal. For how many years, he said?
I have been principal of Tacky for the 1st of July coming would make 18 years.
18 years. Wow, that's a long tenure. Now, do you think you can commingle the duties of principal along with that of MP?
So well, it makes the job easier being the
It
principal.
makes it makes it easy. Okay, all
It
right.
makes the job of becoming the MP much easier.
Easier, okay.
Being the principal. And I tell you why. When I do the walks, remember, my school is not a small school at all. So we would have a cohort of average 200 kids per year leaving. And Tacky is strategically located. And so the students would have been drawn from all 5 divisions of the constituency. So when I do the walk, I would hear parents, past students, and everybody saying, we're not PNP, but we can't vote against you.
Okay.
so we're not voting for the PNP, we're voting for you.
We're voting for you.
Yes.
Okay.
And I said, I have no difficulty with that.
That's a big advantage to have. That's a big advantage to have. 200 kids graduating every year. They graduate right away. They're going to the voting pool. By the way, how many people are in the constituency? That's a rough count.
The constituency is an interesting constituency, And let me tell you a little bit about that before I tell you the number. Western St. Mary is bordered by 4 constituencies. It is bordered to the south by Northeast St. Catherine. That's in the Gayle area.
Okay.
It is bordered to the west by Southeast St. Anne and the Southeast St. Anne in the Halifax Rose Street area. And then it is bordered to Northeast St. Anne in the White River area. Okay. And then on the other side, it is bordered by our neighboring PNP Republic of Central St. Mary.
Okay. That's another interesting one coming up. Okay. Yeah, so number-wise.
Currently, on the voters list, we have 38,923 electors.
Whoa,
so it's a huge constituency. I would tell you that the constituency has 5 divisions, and any one of the division could easily be bigger than any one of the constituencies in Kingston. For example, you have the Carronall division, and the Carronall division would take in places like Palmetto Grove. So the constituency starts as Wales from Palmetto Grove, Windsor Castle, Jeffreytown, Wood Park, Hazard, Lockhill, and that's just Carronall division. In the Gayle division, you would have places like Bonnygate, Jacks River, Oxford, Gettysstone, Barclaystown. In the Boscobel division, the 3rd of 5, you have places like Mango Valley, the Brainova Battle Site, Hunstown, Top Pen. And the 4th division, which is really a PNP Republic or Rocabessa, you have places like Galena, Mason, Hamilton Mountain, Days Mountain. And the Retreat division will give you interesting places like 3 Hills, Pompano Bay, Labyrinth, Cascade. So it's a huge division,
It's a huge division. Okay.
constituency geographically.
Of all five divisions, which one would be the cherry on top for you?
Arokobesa.
Arokobesa. Okay. All right. Let's get down to the meat of the matter now, Mr. Bascoe. Mr. Bascoe, what would be your plans for? Let me start right in your wheelhouse. Education. How would you tackle education or the lack of education or the poor standard of education in the Western St. Mary division? What are your plans?
I thank you for that question, because I intend to tell you now that in St. Mary, there are 9 high schools.
9, okay.
5 of those high schools happen to be in Western St. Mary. So you would have, and interestingly, one high school of the 5, we have 5 divisions, and there is one high school in each division.
In each division.
Never
division. Realized that.
Yes. So Tacky High School would fall in the Boscobel division. Caranall High School is in Caranall division.
Caranall division.
The Iona High School is in the Retreat division.
I keep missing out on Iona. I don't know why.
Yes. The Orokobesa High School would naturally be in Orokobesa. And have I forgot the one? Yes, and the Brimmervale High School would fall in the Gayle division. Okay. Brimmervale High School, I understand, is where you would have had some roots with your dad.
Yes, sir, yes. The capital of St. Mary, Bailey'sville.
All right.
Education.
So what are schools, for me, arguably the most underused facility the government has. And I say that to say this. And I'm talking now, I'm going to zero in on the 5 schools in Western.
All right, go ahead.
Except for Orokobesa High, which operates for only 10 hours a day. All the other schools operate for only 8 hours. 8 hours of the 24 hours in the day. So they are grossly underused for me. So the plans.
Go ahead.
So the plans for me would be, and let me start at the right place. When Errol Charles Bascoe, become the Member of Parliament for Western St. Mary, let me make it clear. I am going to be partnering with all 5 schools in the constituency, alongside the Art Trust NTA, started way back with Michael Manley. Under Michael Manley. I'm going to be partnering with the City and Guilds examination body out of England to have evening school in all 5 schools in the constituency, running from 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. And we will be opening the doors for every adult over 18. And there is no age limit at the back end of that.
No age limit. Well, okay.
Right. And so this is a start to say that it is not increasing the number of police that we have that is going to control the crime rate. It is not increasing the number of police vehicles that we have that is going to, and we might just get the police vehicles only on paper.
Mm-hmm.
So it is not just increasing the number of police nor the police vehicles that is going to cut down on the crime rate. So we are going to roll out school, utilize the school facilities, which are already underutilized, to bring the recent school leavers, the not so recent school leavers, to catch up on what they would have missed out. And because we said we're partnering with one of the partners to be Heart, Heart Trust NTA now certifies tradesmen even if you are 65, 70. And you would
Okay.
know that we have some men who can really do the work, but there is no certification.
No
And
certification, true.
so
Mm-hmm.
when I become the member of parliament, all that will change in Western St. Mary, because we are starting with empowering the people to work, the people to graduate from being a foot soldier to be on their own, through training. There is currently, there is currently in the system where the government has what they call a sixth form pathway program.
Yeah, I heard
Don't know
about
if
that.
you are
Mm-hmm.
aware of that.
Yeah, I heard
And
about it. Mm-hmm.
that is a program where everybody leaving high school, whether you can read or not, you are told to go back to sixth form. You are offered numerous perks to go. The institution
Incentives,
is
right?
offered
Mm-hmm.
the same. And so at this time, you are almost, if not 80.
I think the system froze up a bit. We, hey guys, ladies and gentlemen, we seem to be having a little technical difficulty with Mr. Basco's feed. His feed seems to have frozen. But from what he was trying to do, he was explaining about his plans for education. And I hope he'll be able to come back on because Mr. Basco is planning to have schools open till he wants to go till 10 p.m. at night. I I want him to explain to us how feasible that is to have kids who have just left school, adults coming in to learn to get added certification. Because, like he said, we have a lot of people out there. We have a lot of people out there who can do the work, but they're not certified. I've seen master tailors, carpenters, masons working, and they're not working from any book or anything like that. No measurement, but these guys can do the work. All they need to get proper employment is that certification. But what I wanted to ask Mr. Basco, he said it's a way of empowering people. I wanted to ask him, in his honest opinion, does he think the people want to be empowered? Because I think this is just my feeling, guys. I think for too long, some people have been used to this freeness mentality, and I don't know if most of them want to be empowered. I'd hope so. I'd hope they want to be able to make a meaningful living livelihood, getting an honest day's pay for an honest day's work. And that's something I'd like to ask him. I'm hoping he logs back on again. I'm hoping he logs back on again. Mr. Basco, if you're hearing me, all you have to do is go back to that link and do what you did in the first place to log on. But we're coming back to him again because this is interesting. Mr. Basco is the chairman of the whole Western St. Mary PNP division. And as chairman, that position carries a lot of weight. So whoever is running against Mr. Basco, and like he says, he doesn't want to use the word opponent because they're both PNP. So the heads in Western St. Mary are gonna meet to select who the candidate will be. And that candidate will be up in the next general election to face Bobby Montague. So that's the advantage he has. He has the entire Western St. Mary PNP apparatus behind him. So whoever is running against him for that seat has an uphill battle. He's got all the ammunition in his corner, so to speak. But I wanted to ask him some things, not only education, we want to touch on utilities, we want to touch on farming and things like that. So I do hope he comes back on. I do, because he gave up a lot to be here this evening, not going to champs. And which sportsman, will miss champs? But this just shows you how important this was. This is Mr. Bascoe, that he stayed home and was willing to meet me here this evening. But coming down the pike, guys, we have I think, two more political interviews to do. Next week, I'm hoping to have on Mr. Floyd Morris, Senator Floyd Morris, because he will be in a competition with Mr. Omar Newell, and same thing, one will be selected to basically replace Dr. Morris Guy. And I wanted to have Mr. Morris on, and then Mr. Newell, or vice versa, whichever will agree to come first. Because we want the best for St. Mary. I'd like the best for St. Mary. Being a person who spent the greatest years of my life in Bailey'sville, went to high school at St. Mary High, I want to see the parish move forward. And from what I heard from Mr. Byfield last week, and from what Mr. Bascoe started out, seems like these gentlemen really want the best for the parish. Because there's no reason our parish should be lagging way behind everybody else. Growing up, I always heard this thing that Marcus Garvey was arrested in Port Maria. Yes. And he cursed Port Maria at his trial. And growing up, it always looked like it was true. Every other parish was moving ahead. We got to break that curse. And I'd like to see a progressive member of parliament for Western St. Mary. And between them and Bobby Montague, we can see who's best. And we can have the same thing for Central St. Mary. I am not a political person by any means. I'm not taking any sides. Not taking any sides. Neither JLP nor PNP. You'll never hear me do that. But I want to give everybody a chance to, make their ideas heard, whether it be from the PNP or JLP. Okay, we'll have these two gentlemen, and later on, if Mr. Montague, the Honorable Montague, would like to come on, fine. We'd have him on too, just to make everything level across the board. So while we are waiting on Mr. Bascoe to log on again, if there's anybody who wants to say something in the chat, fine, you can. I'd love to hear your ideas. For Miss Henry, you're from the Boscobel division. What do you think about the man? Okay, I think we have Mr. Bascoe coming back here again. Yes, Mr. Bascoe. Welcome back, sir. Welcome back.
Yes, I am here. We had a power outage.
Oh, okay. Yes, guys, Mr. Bascoe is back. Go ahead, sir. Yes, like I was saying, you want to empower these people. And forgive me for asking, do you really think most of our people want to be empowered? I mean, haven't they been used to all this freeness mentality for too long? What do you think? I'm not being rude. I'm just asking a question there.
No, I think they want to be empowered. Okay. And a number of them, if not most, have something so I have come to realize that people mature at different stages. And so they will spend 5 years in high school and did not really mature to the point where they realize that education is important. And so some of them will realize this at age 19, at age 20, at age 25. They would have no chance, or they have never been given the opportunity to get a second bite at the apple. And this is what I am coming with.
Okay. All right. So that's your whole thing for education. Anything else before we move on to another topic? Anything else you think of covering in education?
That would be covering a whole lot in the first year, and as we in the first term, okay. And as we go along.
What about the facilities of the schools? the resources? Do you think we're
The
precise?
resources of the schools are not adequate, but I can tell you, for the best part, we are trying, and the authorities have really tried. And so most, if not all, the high school in Western St. Mary would have had good internet connectivity, and which is a big part of anything you're going to be doing here now. And so we have something that we can work with.
And do you think we attract the best teachers?
Definitely not.
Definitely not.
Definitely not. And like you might have heard
Mhm.
that at the last school year we have an exodus of over 400 teachers who would have migrated for simply put, better pay.
Better pay. Okay. All right. One of my pet, even though I'm a teacher, one of my pet subjects is that of agriculture. What can be done to improve agriculture in St. Mary? Because we are a very fertile parish. What can we do? What would you do?
And agriculture come in many spheres. There are different sectors, different sections to agriculture. I can tell you a few of the plans
Mhm.
that I have for for agriculture. And if I'm to start with, let me start with, say, the fisheries industry. Um, there are two big fishing sanctuaries in Western St. Mary. There
Mhm.
is the White River Sanctuary, and I can tell you that the White River Sanctuary has 150 acreage hectares, that is in the reef. And
Mhm.
there is the Arokobesa Bay with a 225 being 225 acres large. Now, as member of parliament, I intend to work with the local fisher folks, the local fishermen, to
Mhm.
form the St. Mary Fishermen Association. And we are going to, over time, try to add, or not try to, but over time, we will add um, other sanctuaries to the two that we have, since we'll be forming an association. And we're looking at place like White River, where we can add the additional sanctuaries. Outside of the fishing,
Mhm.
St. Mary is known for other farming being produce yams and all that you have. The endurance, the endurance to larger scale farming in St. Mary is the bad roads,
Okay.
the bad roads to get the products. I don't know how long you have or how recent you have visited, but I can almost bet that St. Mary would have the poorest road right across the length and breadth of Jamaica.
Wow. And Jesus. Oh my Lord.
And so, in empowering the people with farming, currently, I can tell you that in Western, I know of the Jeffertown Farmers Association.
Mhm.
I know of another farmers association in Decoy, the Decoy Farmers Association. I'm not sure that there are many associations. And you know that with numbers, you have strength. It is the intention to develop farmers association right across the constituency, like the Masonall Farmers Association, the Jacks River Farmers Association, the New Penn Farmers Association, where we have acres of land, acres of unused land that can be used for just about any type of farming. And so, in coming with agriculture on that large scale, it means that my priority would be to forge closer relationship with the agricultural agencies, the JAS, the RADAs, and so forth, so that the people will have can have markets for the produce, with the relationship being close.
Let me ask you. Once you mention farming, once you come up with the word farming, two other words come to mind. Predial larceny. What is that like in St. Mary? Is it affecting the farmers that much or what?
It is. It is. It is. If I were to say no, I would be lying. Mm-hmm. And so, predial larceny is affecting the farmers anywhere right across the country. And St. Mary and Western St. Mary is no exception.
Mm-hmm. And how would you go about combating that? What would you as MP do to help to minimize the whole predial larceny thing? Any plans?
Yes, man. I tell you something, Garfield. One of the things, is, you see, when you are not in government, then you can give suggestions and they might not be taken. You would know of the district constable that are usually attached to community stations.
Mm-hmm.
Follow me on that?
Yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Those district constables are taken out from the community. So you no longer have that. What used to happen when you have the district constables, they would know every jackman in the community. And so once something goes down, the DC is always there, almost like a combating force, mm-hmm. knowing who is who, so to speak. What has been happening in recent time is that these DCs are taken out of the communities and are put in the stations in the town. So you could be a DC and you find yourself in St. Anne, in Ocho Rios, in tourism areas. And so ever since the DCs are empowered, are given this tribe to be writing tickets being traffic tickets. I am wondering if the original reasons for having the DCs have been shifted to making the coffers of the government richer by writing as much tickets as possible.
As many tickets as can. Okay.
That is what I am seeing now from the DCs. So the original role has been lost, and that would have contributed to not only the predial larceny, but several other crimes in communities.
Oh, okay, all right. Yes, and not just predial larceny. I want to touch on crime all over the entire constituency. I understand that up in that Jeffreytown area, it's been basically very bad. In fact, one of my good friends was murdered some months ago. What can you do apart from just having DCs? What can you or what would you implement in the area to, cut down on some of the crime? Because I don't think all the crime is being committed by people from the community. What about people coming in? Is there anything you can think of doing?
I agree with you. I don't think all the crimes are being committed by people in the community, but I still believe that people in the community are supportive of the ones coming in to commit the crime. And so many things. You have some things that we call community centers, right? And it is my intention to ensure that we have proper functioning community centers where we can have basic training programs equipped with, of course, Wi-Fi, equipped with things like center managers, developing play fields for all these community centers. And so when you have those play fields, you will ensure that you always have ongoing sporting events. Why am I saying all of this? I am saying all of this because sports arguably is one of the most powerful unifying force that you can find to bring communities together.
Without a doubt.
When you have these events happening, not only are you providing employment for center managers or the maintenance managers or the field managers for the events, but you are engaging the youth, you are engaging the people, you're giving them things to occupy time so that they have less time to even think about the crime that are happening. So, with very little things like this, Garfield, it is not more prison that is going to cut down on the crime. It is not making of more prison, nor the increase in the police, nor the increase in the police vehicle. All we need is to have these community centers up and running and have ongoing sporting events so that the youths remain gainfully employed. And I'm talking all of this outside of the SDC competitions that you have, because you have the SDC competition where they will have a little cricket, a little football, and a little netball for the most part. I am thinking all season round. Cricket, football, netball, volleyball, and everything that will give the youths a chance to expend their energy in those areas so that they'll have less time to think about the crime.
Okay. Now, Mr. Bascoe, here is something that is very near and dear to me. Last time I came to Jamaica and driving through that area, from Free Hill to Jacks River in a rent-a-car, I lost 2 hubcaps. the roads are atrocious.
Oh, so you agree with me on that?
Yeah, what would you tell me? What would you do to help rectify that situation with the roads? What does an MP, what sort of resources would an MP like you get that could be, spent on these roads? How would you go about this?
I thank you for that question, because one of my plans is that you see, you would not be foreign to the term bolo work.
Bolo work, yeah, man.
That's the Christmas word.
Not bolo work, bolo walk.
Bolo work, yes. So the bolo work is not necessary, if you have the ongoing road and water maintenance, And so, as an MP, it is my duty and it is one of my priorities to have the road maintenance, the roads being measured in kilometers. And you have, similarly, like you'll have the cluster managers, you have cluster managers in charge of certain kilometers of road until we have covered all the major road. And if we have an ongoing road maintenance project where people are on the payroll, and we see to it that the bushing of the sidewalk happens, we are seeing to it that the trimming of the trees out over the road happens, We are seeing to it that the simple potholes are
Mm-hmm.
patched. Then there would be
Instead of just throwing like a mile in it, right?
exactly. Then there would be no need like what we have now, because what we really have now is to really grade off the roads, because they are far past the patching stage. It can't happen by patching again.
Mm-hmm.
And so, had we have these persons in place to keep the maintenance over the year long, then there
Mm-hmm.
would be no need for the Christmas work, the same follow that we call it.
Okay. No. All right. Mm-hmm. Whoa. Big one. But honestly, the roads really, really, really need attention.
Terrible, terrible.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And if you're the MP, we're gonna hold it. We're gonna hold you to that. But let's move on now to another area which your stablemate, you don't call him opponent. He had mentioned some things about the whole water situation. Can you clarify that for us, please? And let's know what are your plans. The whole, I wouldn't say the water situation, the lack of water.
Um, the lack of water is not wide scale. Is not wide scale.
Why
I
is it?
can
Okay.
tell you off the bat that I was in dialogue with some people from the Three Hills area. Three Hills is in
Mm-hmm.
the retreat division.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they showed me some correspondence from the Water Commission that they got to say they will not be getting any water until the 3rd of April, I think it is. And the date on that would have been dated back 3 weeks. I would have been in dialogue with some people from the Masonal
Mm-hmm.
community in the Orokobesa division, and they have never had running water from time immemorial. And I remember quite well that there was a big ceremony at the Masonal Primary School where some $93 million were up for the running water to be in Masonal. And I'm talking about could have been probably some 6-7 years ago. So when I visited a place like Masonal to find out that they are still without water, I asked the question of some key persons. Were you at the ceremony at the primary school where the MP said that some $93 million were granted for water to be in Masonal? Are we asking the questions of the servant?
Mm-hmm.
What has happened today? And so, Sir Waller, there are a lot of work to be done. And
Mm-hmm.
when I assume the office of Member of Parliament, not only will we have work to do, but we will have a lot of auditing of the constituency to do, because by now some of the communities should be alleviated with the bad water supply that we currently have.
Wow. So let me ask you, Mr. Bascoe, in your heart of hearts, do you think that our parish on a whole, not just Western St. Mary, do you think that our parish on a whole has been neglected by the powers that be? Why do you think? Your honest opinion.
My honest opinion is that the people who are elected to be the servants
Mm-hmm.
immediately change the rules of the game and
Again.
would have moved the goalposts in the middle of the game to become the masters. And so for too long, we have sat. This is one of my reasons for coming out. For too long, we have
Mm-hmm.
kept quiet allowing them to believe that all of us are not bright. Huh?
Okay.
And
All right.
so it can be much better than what it is now. But some people take comfort to keeping some people to be foot soldiers for all of their lives. And that is exactly opposite of what I believe in, because I believe we need to empower the people and allow them to optimize their true potential.
Well said. Mr. Basco, in your campaign, let's say you are victorious in the selection process, or even before you get to that process with the youngsters, as you call him, would you resort to down and dirty tactics? They say all politics is clean. Would you go low?
You say go low?
Yeah.
No, man, I tell you something. By the end of this interview, no, so well, I am going to have the youngster on my side. And so I am going to have him by the end of this interview. I'll have him on my side.
Oh my God.
And he has an expertise that I need. So I
You need.
have my place for him on my team already.
I gather he will be saying the same thing about you. This is funny. This is gonna be interesting, because trust me, he's watching and listening. You know that.
Yeah,
right?
man, I know that. But there'll be no low blows. We were together at an event just yesterday. I think we were together at an event yesterday. He's a good friend of mine, And I tell you something. He has the age of my first son.
All right. So let me ask you, if, let's say for argument's sake, he is selected, would you throw your support behind him?
The first part of the statement is totally out. If he's selected, I know that I'll be selected, but just in case, I would have changed my mind. He would be next in line. He would have my support 150%.
I like that. I like that about both of you. Boy, this is funny. This is gonna be an interesting race. This is gonna be interesting. And Mr. Basco, I have a young lady on here. I don't know if she's joking or what. I don't know if you can see the comments. Are you able to see the comments?
Yes, I'm seeing.
There's one by, what's her name? Dorothy Henry. I don't know if she's being fascist or not. And she said, so how will I manage if I can't have my little Christmas money from the little bottle work? I don't know if she's serious. I don't know how to take it, whether she is serious about this or not.
No, man, I don't think she's serious, because when she realizes that she will be on the payroll for 12 months, then she'll forget about the $5,000 for Christmas. So.
She forget what the bottle.
Exactly.
Oh my God. Oh. But we've been on now for an hour. Is there anything you'd like to say before we close out? Any words you'd like to throw to your supporters, or even those who are against you, who are not with you? Anything you'd like to say?
And you'll always have that, because if everybody is for you, then something is wrong with you.
Something is wrong. I always say that too.
And
I always say that too.
Even my competitor, I have no problem with him. Nice guy, nice young guy. And let me tell you something. There is nothing wrong when you try, when you are young. I can only say, though, in closing, I am calling on the 38,923 electors in Western St. Mary to stand with me and help to send a message that Western St. Mary needs a sobering head to be in Parliament, to be their parliamentary representative. whenever the election is called.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just leave by saying, remember now that there is a big difference between the leader who instructs and the leader who inspires.
Okay.
I am wishing all the viewers, all your viewers, and I have a few from as far as England. I am wishing for them
Whoa.
an inspirational night. And my last word, Garfield, would be tired of fiasco, vote Bascoe.
I like that one. Tired of fiasco, vote Basco. Whoa. You need to patent that one, man. You need to patent that one. Tired of fiasco, vote Basco. Oh my God, that is funny. Miss Henry saying she is standing with you. She is standing with you. So you seem to have a good support tonight. But when is this selection going to take place? Can you key us in on that?
All
When is the final
selections,
selection going to be made?
no, all candidate selection will be completed by July.
By July.
By
Oh,
July.
so you guys have a lot of time.
Yes, man, we have a lot of time.
You guys have. All right. So let's see now. Let me ask something about the elephant in the room. Bobby Montague.
Elephant?
People have been saying, I don't mean in size, you know. People have said that he is a master when it comes to grassroots politics. But I gather you two are close, right? Tell the people how close you guys are.
Yes, man, very close. He's a good friend of mine.
Mm-hmm. Was the chairman of the school board at one time?
No.
Was he? No.
No, he has never been chairman of the school board.
Of the school, but you are confident you can match him.
I am wondering if he's confident that he can match me.
Listen. One of my heroes in sports was always Muhammad Ali. Yeah. You're sounding like him now. You are sounding like Ali now. You're wondering if he can match you. Well, I'm sure he's gonna have a lot to say about that, man. But I'm telling you, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. Mm-hmm. But before you even run, why do you think? Okay, let me throw this out to you. The PNP lost miserably last general election. What's your diagnosis on that? Why do you think that happened? Why do you think there was this lack of apathy when it came to voting?
And like everyone would know, Garfield, we had our internal issues. Mm-hmm. We had our internal differences, which unfortunately played out in the public sphere. And then the people decided that the party is really not together. And then if you look at the percentage in terms of the number of electors who voted, however, you would realize that the JLP didn't really win. The JLP didn't really win. The PNP really didn't vote it. So having gotten a long stretch, that's the JLP now. The people are now realizing that they would have made a mistake by not voting and allowing this incompetent government to take over. And that is why if you look at all the polls that would have been done, you would realize by the PNP slogan that time come.
That time is here. Wow. And you think when it comes, if and when the election is called, you think the PNP's apparatus is ready to go, get up and go.
And that is why the PNP has been calling on the government to call the local government election. if you are not ready and they are not calling it, you would keep quiet. But the calls get louder and louder to say, when are you calling the election? We have seen no preparation. We have seen nothing in the budget that says that this is for the election. The PNP machinery is up, oiled and ready. And that is why we are calling on them to call any one of the elections, as a matter of fact.
Anyone? Okay. Well, Mr. Basco, it's been a pleasure having you. You and the young man, I like your confidence. I like your confidence. I'm looking at your your poster there, and man, you're boasting. You are you just start up boasting so bad, boy.
Yes.
It's great. It's great when we can, when we can laugh at stuff like that. Politics need to get back to that lighthearted stuff. But I'm happy and grateful that you could take the time out to really sit down and talk with me tonight. And as we go on and get closer to the date, and maybe even after that selection is made, we can sit down and talk again with the winner. I ain't gonna say no names. You think it's you, the other guy think it's him. But we would love to be able to have that vibrant discussion, that peaceful, funny, light-hearted discussion. I want to thank all the supporters who came on, especially Miss Lorraine, Miss Marlene, and Dorothy. It's good that they could come on. My only gross is that some people, they seem to be afraid to comment. But the next time, I'll be accepting calls. I'm going to have people call in to talk to you guys, and we see where we can take it from there. Mr. Surgery is saying, if you're selected, I have to invite you back. Yes, Mr. Surgery, trust me. I will invite him back every weekend if necessary, as long as he's willing to come on. Fine. I have no problem with that. But Mr. Basco, thank you very much, sir, and I appreciate it. Stay safe, and thanks for being here with me. Thank you very much.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me. And I'll just end by saying, like the poster would have said there, get a better leader, vote the teacher.
In fact, I think I should show them again. Okay. Western St. Mary Errol Bascoe, time come for youth empowerment and community upliftment, vote the teacher. Okay. Well, look, they have seen it. And after the selection is made, it's up to them to, really come out and put the backing behind either you or the other party. So Miss Dorothy said, "Wooey." That seems to be your biggest supporter right there, man. She likes it.
Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Basco, thanks a lot, man, and all the best with your job and your undertaking here. Okay, buddy. Thanks a lot.
It was a pleasure.
Peace out. Peace out,